The question was, Jen, whether you were going around saying Meredith is a pill popper behind her back.
No, I wasn't. That's a lie.
You believe this over me, I'm not going to jail.
Okay.
Ooh.
Let's see what happens when I dump a drink on your head.
I haven't been the one trying to get on the show for 3 years.
Do you like to bark? I bite.
Wait a damn minute.
What's up, y'all? It's Brian Keith, and I'm back with another video. Today, we'll be looking at the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, the reunion, part 1. And yeah, like, this was entertaining, but there were moments where I feel like it could have really gave a little bit more. But I'm not mad at it, you know. It was what it was. We learned a lot. Dana. Yeah, I like Dana even more and more. But y'all, like, comment, subscribe, and let's get into the video.
Let me check my shit real quick. Hotter than the fire coming out my flaming lips. You wanna play with me? You can't play in me. On the playground, bitch, you can't play with me. Got it, want it, securing the bag.
All right, y'all. So the reunion basically starts off with, like, you know, Andy does like his little pep talks that he do with everybody going around, just like, okay, how are you doing? Da, 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 da. Nothing crazy, but you know, the 4 ladies that are left standing are, you know, they are the reunion. You know, Meredith, Lisa, Whitney, and Heather. Those are the 4 ladies that are left. You know, Mary Cosby is gone, unfortunately, and Jen, you know, did not come to the reunion because her attorney and her legal team advised her not to. You know, they feel like a lot of stuff that would have been said would have implicated her more. I don't think it would have, but you never know. The judge could have subpoenaed her the footage and like, yeah, we need this footage because we're gonna get this girl. And to be honest, it probably played in her favor because Jen really should have got 13 to X amount of years, you know, but she only got 6.5. So, I mean, maybe she made the right decision. But, you know, they basically talk about the reaction to why Jen's not there. Lisa felt like, you know, she wanted her to be there because it could have been like a lot of closure and they could have got something out of it instead of, you know, nobody talked to it. Even they know what the fans want. Everybody wanted Jen there because Jen is an integral part of this big machine, you know. Heather said, you know, she's a big part, like I just said. Then Andy goes on to why Jen changed her plea. And she pleaded guilty. And a lot of people had mixed emotions.
He claimed her innocence and screamed it from the rooftops. So I honestly thought she'd go fight the trial to the end.
Whitney was talking about, you know, it was surprising because this whole time,
I'm innocent. Oh my God, I'm innocent.
But then now you're guilty? So Heather alludes to the fact that maybe her husband had something to do with her changing her plea. And if that is the case, and that's kind of interesting because like we all try to equate Coach Shaw to Erica Jane, and the fact that there's no possible way that you didn't know something was going on. And to the fact of with Erica Jane, right? Erica Jane walked into this life with Tom. He was a multimillionaire before Erica. So with Coach Shaw, he met her in college and they grew together. So at some point there was a financial difference or a shift that happened. Like, there's no possible way that you did not know something was amiss. Come on now, like, it's something, you know. But it is what it is. I feel like Heather's blind loyalty, like, she's like, you know, how do you feel with basically Jen lying to you about the whole plea thing? Because she basically said that when she changed her plea, she called her, they cried together. That's what it was.
Do you feel lied to?
I wasn't really feeling anything other than sadness for her family, and I thought of her children, and I thought of...
And Heather's like, you know, that's my friend. I'm going to support my friend. I feel like her blind loyalty sometimes is just delusional because at some point...
2 things can be right at the same time.
Yes, I'm going to support my friend in a tough time, but I'm pissed off that she lied to me.
In my face.
So the fact that she wants to be like, oh my God, my friend, you know, I'm going to support her and her family. That's all I thought about. No, I be thinking about, so you said in my face this whole time, lying up a storm and didn't care nothing about me. And even off camera said like, girl, you know, I stole my people's money. I did it. I wanted that Gucci, Louis, Prada. Not trying to minimize, but I'm just scenario playing. So we move over to Andy talking about, you know, Meredith and Lisa, where are you guys at in your friendship? They're like, you know, there's no friendship at all. Like, there's nothing really to talk about, you know. at some point we could just be cordial. And then they go into the fact that, you know, all these accusations have been coming out about Lisa, and Andy feels like, you know, Meredith was trying to get back at Lisa. Meredith was like, no, that's not the case. You know, I was just bringing up things that I've heard. So I feel like this is kind of BS, because at the end of the day, Meredith, you brought up to multiple people about everything about Lisa. And I felt like it was get back. You wanted her to feel the same way that you felt about what she said about you in the hot mic. So like her whole thing was like, you affected my husband and he could have lost 4,000 employees. That was one of her main topics. So for me, I felt like that she wanted to get her back. Like everything she said was a motivation to get her back. But she said that wasn't the case. And Lisa feels like, you know, people were spinning lies and making lies about her. The rumors that were said was about the, you know, fellatio for jazz tickets, and you know, her over here getting deals to get Vita Tequila on the shelf. Now, a lot of those specifics came from Whitney. Now, she did come up, and Meredith did go to the house like, you know,
I heard things about Jen, about Lisa, about Vita Tequila, but you know, I just don't know. It's preposterous. I don't think it's nothing.
But you know, that's what happened, and Whitney's trying to defend herself. But Whitney, to be honest, you brought that up. Everything, like you try to spin it with Heather, you brought that up. But the funny thing about it, when she basically told Heather about the situation, like, you know, Heather, you knew about the situation, Heather could not defend herself. I caught Heather switching to her words. If you see the way she talked, Heather could not defend herself in the situation. So now it makes me feel like, Heather, did you know something? Because I feel like you do, especially with when Angie came out. But you know, Lisa basically starts crying. She's like, you know,
John, once you brought up John, it crushed my world.
And I'm just like, Lisa, I like you. I really do. But the fact you can't get mad that Meredith brought up John when you brought up Meredith's husband. You can't. You cannot get mad that Meredith threw dirt at you when you threw dirt at her. Fair is fair. Her whole thing was like, you know, you gonna attack me, cool, that's fine. But to attack my husband, and I get what she's saying, but I'm like, you did the same thing to her, so fair is fair, right? So, you know, then Andy brings up the whole pill popping thing. And Lisa tried to explain and say, you know, Jen said that they was over here doing, you know, shrooms and Special K. Look, I don't do none of that. That's none of my business. I don't know. But she switched it up once Meredith called Jen, because she was like, girl, that's what Jen said. You can call her right now. And Meredith was like, okay, I'm going to call her.
How you told us that they took shrooms before they built the hotel in the hot tub. Ketamine and shrooms, because I didn't know what ketamine was. I had to Google it.
And I just felt like, why are we calling Jen? She should be here, right? But I did think it's funny when Jen was like, I didn't say that. What I said was shrooms. So, I mean, she admitted to something. But Lisa was like, oh my gosh, she's lying. Like, she's a liar. She's going to jail. I'm like,
I wouldn't. That's a lie. No, it isn't. Well, you don't tell the truth all the time, so I wouldn't expect you to now.
girl. And she was like, you're going to believe me. She said, you're going to believe somebody that's going to jail for lying over me. Cool. Then all the ladies come out, and it's basically the rest of the ladies come out. Angie K, Angie H, and Dana. I do not care for Angie H's basically character on the show. She might be an amazing woman off the show, but on the show, could care less. Her husband could care less. If anything, keep her as a friend, please, because she's not that engaging. She gives me too thirsty. Even though Angie K and Dana had thirsty moments, it didn't come off as desperation. Okay. So all the ladies come up, and then Andy basically talks to Dana like, well, you know, what's your issue with Jen? Because from go, you had her foot on her neck, right? So Dana's just like, you know, I was cool with her at first, you know, we greeted each other, this, that, and the third. But it's like, yeah, Dana, that's true, you did, like, you know, was cordial with her at first. But once that whole situation happened, she said the situation that happened with Angie H, she didn't like that. But to be honest, when Jen came out, you told Jen to confront Angie H. So Dana basically walks over to Jen like, hey, you know, they brought up the situation. You might as well want to join into the conversation. You already know it's typical Jen. She's going to basically take it above and beyond.
To big deal. Let me tell you what I had to say. I had to tell my husband. Remind me. Shut up and let me talk. Because it's me. It's me, goddammit. So let me talk.
And I know that for a fact because I've reviewed it. So, to be honest, yes, you probably got mad with the way that she reacted to it, but you told Jen to go talk to her. So, I mean, to be honest, that's on you. Because Jen didn't know nothing about it. You came out there and you got Jen to say, go talk to Angie because she's talking about you about Shaw's post. That was you, Dana. So, to be honest, even though I like you, I'm going to keep you accountable. But, you know, then we see the whole clash. And we learn a little bit more about how Jen was actually, you know, making fun of where she lived at. And Dana's like, you know, you can make fun of where I lived at, but she was like, I can buy the rental home that you're in and I can buy multiple properties. I have multiple properties. So you don't want to really go there. And then she made fun of her husband. And at that point, like I said, like, you can't really tell people how to react or defend themselves. So, I mean, Dana did what she had to do. Once she saw Jen, she was like, it's on the popular. I'm gonna say what I gotta say. So she got in her face and we see the flashback. I don't know why they cut it out the show.
Don't talk to me. Get my face, okay? Don't get my motherfucking face. If you get my face, I can get right back to you. Do it, honey. Do you like to fuck? I bite. Okay? Right, honey? Right.
Big one. I don't care if it was rehearsed. I don't care if she's standing in the mirror.
I don't care if she was over here making a prayer. I don't care if she was over doing it. She did her big one and I was like,
Bitch, you don't want to catch no motherfucking cases, okay? You're being indicted. And if I were you, I'd be real nice right now, especially if you want some money on your books.
So off that alone, Dana, come back because not that many people go after the big dogs. And I think Rodney DeVoy said the same thing about how who was it? How Escala came after Karen and just basically, you know, wasn't afraid to basically stand up because there's a hierarchy to these things, you know. Jen was at the top of the hierarchy. That's why nobody challenges Jen half the time and let her get away with everything. So I like the fact that Dana stood up to Jen. You know, then we see Angie H and they talk about, you know, her husband trolling Lisa. And Angie basically talk about, you know, Lisa, the reason why my husband did it because you were trolling me, this and the third. And that all could be true. That all could be true. You don't have no proof. You don't have, like, even when Mary was talking about screenshots, you don't have no proof. You didn't show me no proof. So,
Don't care.
That's all for me, hearsay. We got proof of Angie's husband did that. And like Lisa said, you're deflecting because your husband did do it and got caught. So that's why I'm just like, you know, I'm not mad at Lisa for defending herself against Angie H because Angie H, at the end of the day, you ain't got no proof. You talking about, well, you know, the reason why we did it because you're trying to accuse my husband. And then they get into the whole John Barlow cussing in front of their son, this and the third. I mean, at the end of the day, who hasn't cussed in front of their child? I'm not saying it's good, I'm not saying it's bad, but I'm just like, it's a human reaction. Some stuff happened. It's a word. You say it, boom. So for you to try and paint it out to make him seem like he's just some horrible person is weird to me. But, you know, they skip over and Angie still look thirsty. Angie K talks about the whole wine pour, and then Meredith and Heather doesn't think it's a big deal. Meredith was like, you know, yeah, it was tragic, but, you know, I didn't think it was, you know, it was just a little wine, whatever. And then Angie K's just like, okay, so if I throw a bucket on you, would you be mad? And she's like, well, if I'm wearing sweats, I mean, it wouldn't be that big of a deal. To be honest, nobody wants to have wine poured on them on national television for a million people to see. Like, that's embarrassing and it's degrading. And exactly what she said, Jen wanted her to know her place because Angie K did take charge of that trip. And I feel like she had a right to because she did find a house. And Jen always get the best rooms. So I'm like, girl, you're not guaranteed to always get the best rooms. So I'm just like, you know, Angie K, do what you gotta do. I'm not mad. But I did think what was wrong that Angie K did was that one moment spiraled to her saying that Jen's conned me. I want my money back. This, that, and the third. Because before then, everything was cool. Sunshine, rainbows, and daisies. But then when that happened, now it's just like, oh, I'm gonna flip on you. And she's like, it was a buildup, it was a buildup, it was a buildup. So I agree with Meredith and Heather. Like, that one moment made you go all the way like that. And she's like, well, there's a history. Okay, there was a history, but before then, y'all was cool. So I feel like, you know, Angie K switched up. And I do feel like she did stuff for the show. And like Meredith said, you know, you want to call me thirsty, you want to call me this and third, but I'm not the one that begged to get on the show for 3 years. So then we segue over to the whole black eye, and I'm not gonna spend that much time on it because, to be honest, nothing got resolved. Heather starts crying. She's talking about, I don't know what happened to the black eye. She had changed stories. The story was, oh, people know. I don't know what happened. I do know what happened. They know what happened. Maybe I know what happened. I fell and hit my head, but I don't know. I got amnesia. I blacked out. It's so many different changing stories that I'm just feel like it do feel like you covering up for somebody.
Remember, you blacked out. You blackout drunk. I would have choked on the words. They said it was humiliating. I don't want to black out. I want to get drunk and black.
And I don't want to spend that much time on it because Heather's not gonna be truthful at all. So it's just like at the end of the day, goodbye. Everybody feels like Jen was the one that, and that's what it's leaning towards because Heather's not being truthful, and you know, it is what it is. And I like the fact that, you know, Lisa has the hot stick on her neck.
I wish you had said that in the moment, you know, an investigation was launched. No, if you say you didn't know what happened and you went to your room and said I blacked out because I drank too much, and then it makes them look like they did it to you.
Because Lisa's like, why did you change your story? Why did you do this? Because it implemented production. It implemented all of us. It's making it seem like we did it. Why did you say this? Why did you say that? You don't know what it is. So I was not mad at it because if I was in their shoes, now people are probably going to insinuate that maybe I did it, maybe they did it, maybe production did it, the staff member did it. It's disrespectful. And for you to play on people's time, and then like they said, what she should have said from the beginning was, I don't know what happened. I blacked out and I'm still trying to figure out and piece the pieces together because there was a whole investigation going on. So now she over here wasting people's time. So to that effect, if I was Bravo, especially executive, goodbye Heather, thank you for your services, here's your pink slip. Because not only did you waste people's time, you made it seem like you waste people's time and basically you were lying. And I feel like she was like, she didn't want them to change the narrative, basically production. And I mean, I get that, but at the end of the day, we know production does stuff, but you don't have to do everything they say to do. Like, come on now. But anyway, y'all, let me know what you guys think. Like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see y'all in part 2 of Salt Lake City. Next up is going to be Miami, y'all. I'm still out of town for work, but I leave tomorrow, so I will try to have Miami up as soon as possible, y'all. But I'll see you guys later. Peace.
Going to jail, bitch!